So this is a KiCAD tutorial. It's going to show you how to create a schematic and then add modules to that, and then create a PCB, and then look at the Gerbers and a few tips and tricks. It's generally pretty low level for a beginner to just get started. And here we go. So we're going to start by opening KiCAD. We're then going to create a new project. I've already created one and I've called it this here, Amplifier LM386. Because it already exists, we want to replace it. There it is. And then we want to start with the schematic. So we open the schematic editor. It says there's not anything found. That's fine because it was a new thing. So we save it. And that's just allows us to then add to it. So we go to the component selector, we look in there, we look at the device, and we find that we want to put down a capacitor. I'm making a circuit for a small audio amplifier. So what I do is I put down all the components that I want for my schematic, or most that I can think of anyway. Might not be everything, but I get in everything that I think I need. So here I need, I think, 3 polarized capacitors, 2 non-polarized, and so I'm going into device is a generic library that appears, and here I want to connect a resistor, and I'll need, I think, 2 of those. So I plonk them down, and you can click on the thing to get quickly to it. I also want to get a potentiometer, so I plonk that down. I can rotate it using the button R. There's a keyboard short link, R. The other thing I want to do is bring in some I want to bring in an LM386, and I don't really know where that is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look online, and I'm going to look at the search engine that comes with KiCAD, or that you can find that a guy has created for KiCAD. So I look for KiCAD search engine, and comes up with KiCAD libraries. This is a list of all the libraries, and then you look at for the search library which someone has created. I'm looking for the LM386, so I type that in, and we can see that it's in linear.lib. There's 2 versions of it, one of which is in linear.lib. Now I know that linear is already installed on here. It's a default library. We can check that out by looking at the preferences, looking at the libraries we've got installed, and I can see that linear is available. So there it is. These are the standard ones. I haven't done any changes to this. This is standard. I haven't added any extra libraries. So we go to linear, and there it is, 386. Plonk it down. It's exactly what we want. So we plonk that down, and we save it just to make sure. You can zoom in so we can see what we're doing. What I want to do is change the values here, and you can do that by right-clicking and going to, well, you can move a component by right-clicking and doing Move Component, or you can use M as a keyboard link. And you can also do M, there's the keyboard link. That's what I've been using. So now I move everything around to fit approximately where I want it. So I'm doing a little amplifier. I'm going to edit I don't think I want to ever edit the reference. I want to edit the value. So I right click and I do edit component and I do edit value. You can also use V as the short link. So if I press V, it'll come up with the field value, and I actually want that as a 10 kilo ohm resistor. So I'm going to do this for all of the other devices. So I go on top of it and highlight it. So this is press V, 0.22 microfarad capacitor, 220 nanofarad. This fits somewhere around here. Or maybe I didn't need it. I think I've deleted it. This one here, there we go. So that's a 220 microfarad capacitor. There's also a capacitor resistor network there. Change those. That's 0.47. That's 10 ohms. I flipped it around using the R, which is rotate, the R shortcut. So this is 1K, and this is 10 microfarads. So there we go. We have our components in approximately the right place. I actually forgot about one polarized capacitor, which is 100 microfarads. That's just on the power supply. I also want some input and output stuff, so I use the connectors library, and I put down a couple of I put down 3 two-way connectors. So it's con_2 has got connectors in, rotate them around. There's one. Plonk that down. Plonk another one down. And plonk a third down. These do different things. I've got a power, I've got an input, and I've got an output. So let's change their values. This is the input. This is the power, input power. This is the output. I also put down some power connections. So that's by going to the power connector, and I'm going to use battery plus bat. That's going to be my input voltage. And I'm also going to use ground. You need to really have a ground in your thing, or else it doesn't. The KiCAD likes to know that there's a ground around. So I put at least one ground in. I generally put everywhere I need a ground, I put a ground, rather than wiring them all together. Now all these grounds will be all connected together when it draws the net list. It writes the net list and then it draws the PCB. So these are all actually connected together, so that's good. There's ground on pin 4, and there's battery on the input, and there's a battery on the capacitor there, and where else is there a ground? I'm saving that. Then I start to draw some lines between things. Actually, we need one more ground just there. I generally then try and start to get everything aligned. I don't really like that, so I'm going to move that up a bit. Put in my ground. And then I just start wiring everything up. I'm actually going to delete some of this, and you can right click and delete, or you can use the delete button. That's how it should be. Oh, I get it. So wiring up everything. Nearly done. So those are on my wires. So I then save it. And there we go.